Yo, check out my website, www.theclowntimes.net. That's clown spelled with K, as you see here. As you see, here are my rants here. I'll be more and more regular in posting rants in the future. You see what I have going on here. Also, you can also get your merch here at www.cafepress.com. Search for the Clown Time Sports. You see here I have sweatshirts, hoodies, baby gear, mugs, t-shirts. So just come on over and grab yourself some merch. When you mentioned the Big 12, remember those Twitter heads I'm talking about? There's some YouTubers from Big 12 country who feel themselves because they're still happy about the fact that they managed to land a decent contract, not a great, but a decent contract, and they still forget that they don't have Oklahoma and Texas going forward, and they have UC. Not that UC is terrible. I live in Cincinnati, but the likes of Central Florida and Houston and BYU, that none of them, or Texas nor Oklahoma. They tend to forget about that. But they have this notion, a lot of them have this notion that, ooh, we can get Florida State and Clemson and the NC State and Virginia Tech to come to our league. Why? Why would, first of all, yeah, why? If you break it down, even when the Big 12 renegotiates before the ACC gets to renegotiate their deal when the media deal expires, the Big 12 is still going to be distant, but it'll be a distant, no more than distant third behind the Big 10 and the SEC. So why would these schools, Florida State, Clemson, again, this is about thinking critically, why would Florida State, Clemson, NC State, Virginia Tech, or whoever leave a stable company, leave the ACC where they're already in the 3 terms of earnings, go to a conference that not only would be no better than a distant third, they don't even have a damn linear channel. You know, that's like what I tell people. That's like my wife leaving me for me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like what
yeah,
are we doing?
it's a great analogy because you can't say, oh, they're stable because they have a grant of rights, and then at the same time say, well, the ACCs can be broken because if that were the case, as soon as the Big Ten or SEC gets a notion that they want to, take one of their teams, they will. I mean, I have nothing against the Big 12. I honestly,
Neither do
I
I.
prefer to see, all five conferences survive, but
Sure.
there's no mistaking that the Big 10 or the Big 12 has been the most unstable conference in the last 15 years. They've lost six teams, six
Yeah.
programs have left in the last 15 years. You can't wish yourself stable, just because of, public relations. And I'll admit, they really recovered nicely after losing Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, I thought them getting Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, and UCF was a good move. But like you said, it's not a. I don't think ever in the history of realignment that a team has made a lateral move, and it would be at best a
Thank you.
lateral move.
No
So
better than a lateral move. No better than a lateral move. And plus, their new deal, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think it was like they would average out to $31 million once Oklahoma, Texas gets going out
right,
to the SEC. So that's still less than what the ACC is getting right now. And what is a long bad contract. They're still not getting more than the ACC with that. So
yeah,
again, that's why folks need to think critically.
yeah. I
Think
mean,
critically with this.
the difference between the Big 12 and the ACC, maybe one or the other is like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 million ahead, but anything less than like 10 million is like splitting hairs. It's
Right.
it's you know not much, and like you said, even with their deal, and they just put out the numbers for this year, and the Big 12 and the ACC were, they were within like 2 or 3 million of each other, and that was even without the ACC network's full numbers
Right.
not being in, because it didn't start until the end of 2021, and those recent numbers they put out were 21, 22. So the ACC is going to get a little bit more of a bump, but they're still really close together, and the bottom line is it would be a lateral move. So I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, we all agree that schools have been looking at the grant of rights,
Mhm.
but it's really got really blown out of proportion that the conference is breaking apart in like the next 5 years.
Yeah. Hey Matthew, let's get you in on this, man, because I know
Yeah,
you've been sitting on the sideline, but it's just crazy, man.
let me just add something here on that, because I think sometimes you have schools, and Jeff knows I like to talk about this, but sometimes you have schools that they have this group of seven, they're getting together to talk because this is more of a public relations ploy to ESPN to like, hey, give us a
That's all.
bone.
Right,
You need to
right.
give us a little more of a bone to give us more money, so the difference in revenue between the two conferences
Yeah.
isn't staggering, and then it doesn't completely destroy the product that you have on TV. And I think that's the first thing. And as I continue talking about public relations, I certainly wish that Jim Phillips could do a little more in the on the public relations standpoint regarding yes, we're working on something, but nobody really knows what the hell we're working on here to
Right.
try and increase revenue for the conference. So I think that that's certainly part of it.